I welcome everyone to today's interview session. Today we have a distinguished author, Dr. Uche Ifediba, with extensive knowledge as a chemical pharmacist and who informant. Dr. Ifediba brings a wealth of knowledge. He holds degree in pharmacy and public administration, and his passion for promoting health through lifestyle is truly inspiring. And so, thank you, Dr. Ifediba, to publish your book with excellerbooks. How much of your food is poison? Find out and live longer. So, let's delve deeper into the author's perspective. So, my first question to you is, can you tell us about the inspiration behind your book and about what motivated you to write about this book and that contains health risks associated with modern eating habits and food processing? So, in short, what inspired you to write this book?
Thank you very much. I was inspired to write this book because of what I see in society today,
Mm.
especially among our youths. There's a lot of drug abuse going on everywhere, drug misuse, and it has provoked me to write, to draw the attention of the world to the danger that's hidden in the food processing methods, the modern foods we are eating today.
Mm.
Apart from fighting drug abuse and misuse of drugs, when the food is now containing a lot of drugs, a lot of chemicals, a lot of poisons, it becomes more dangerous and more difficult to handle. Because in case of drugs, people may be careful. People are afraid of drugs, apart from those who abuse it, because they know that these are drugs. But when drugs or chemicals or poisons are inserted into the food that we eat, it is dangerous because these foods are eaten as much as we like. There's no control, there's no prescription. So because of that, we have a lot of diseases today, an upsurge in the incidence of a lot of diseases: hypertension, obesity, heart problems, kidney problems, cancer, stroke, and what have you. And the worst is that there are families who doesn't have some kinds of diseases running in them,
Mm.
but they get them from their youths.
Yes.
Something the father does not have, the mother does not have, the ancestors does not have. The youths get them because of what they eat.
Mm.
In processing, there are a lot of chemicals, even officially approved. The regulatory agencies in most countries have approved over 10,000 poisons and chemicals
Oh my God, that's
to be used.
huge.
Yes. So they have approved over 10,000 types of chemicals to be used in food processing, in food cooking, and as spices. But let me point out here that these poisons and chemicals are there to serve a purpose. There was a reason, or there's always a reason for a particular chemical. For example, chemical fertilizers will help the food to grow, to enable us to have bumper harvests.
Mhm.
That does not stop the chemical from being a poison that it is.
Yes.
When in the agricultural sector, for example, when you apply the fertilizers,
Mhm.
some of the fertilizers are retained by the plant products. Then, in case of nitrate fertilizers particularly, they can be retained in the soil, they dissolve in the soil, they get down to the
Mhm.
bottom of the database.
Mhm.
That they will settle, and one location of water base is the same location of maybe a mile away.
Mhm.
So what is happening at a particular place is affecting some miles away. If they draw water from that base
Mhm.
as borehole or anything, they will be affected. Nitrates, whether you eat them as retained in the food or drink the water containing them,
Mhm.
they are dangerous to health, even in minute forms. But as you drink the water every day, use it to cook, use it to bath, and so on, for years, you will have a lot of diseases because it will raise the risk for cancer. It will raise the risk for congenital disabilities. Even the babies in the womb are affected.
Mm.
And you can't tell a pregnant woman not to drink this water or not to drink that. But I want to draw the attention to all this. There's also the issue of hypertension, even from the nitrate water.
Yes.
So there's liver damage, there's kidney damage that can come from that. That is just one something alone from fertilizer. Blood disorders,
Mm.
blue syndrome, they can all come from just one. Now, in the farm too, you will have the herbicides because today we have mechanized farming.
Mm.
So in that, you have to kill the weeds by use of herbicides. One of them is glyphosate.
Mm.
This glyphosate is good when you spray it on the plants. Both the crops and the weeds are not separate. So some of them will be retained on the leaves, on the roots, and other parts of the plant. And when these are consumed, with the expectation anyway that they should be washed off, they should be peeled out or processed out in one way or the other. But some are still retained. And when they get into the body, the body is, there'll be a risk,
Mm.
a higher risk of this same cancer,
Mm.
liver damage, kidney damage, and a lot of other things. Now, you in the same farm too, you can also apply these insecticides,
Mm.
the pesticides that will kill some insects, weevils that attack the plants, either still in the farm
Mm.
or when they have been harvested, like the seeds, the bean seeds, for example.
Mm.
It has to be, otherwise the weevils will eat them up, damage them.
Yes.
So when this is applied now, the pesticide is applied, something like DDVP. It comes in different brands. One of them is Sniper.
Okay. Yes.
You know,
Yes. Yes.
in the military partners.
Yeah.
So, because of the way it can kill
Mm.
these insects. So, most of the time, when these foods are cooked, some of them are retained. You can have cases of
Mm.
mass killing
Mm.
by eating of beef in some countries.
Mm.
Now, when the mass killing is not even the problem. The problem is the one that is unnoticed. When people are eating these things every day for 1 week, 1 month, 2 years, 10 years, they will accumulate and they will cause a lot of problem in the body.
Thank you so much, sir. You have not only to me but to the entire audience, whoever listens to this video, you have told a lot of pros and cons of food consumption and the do's and don'ts of, and what are the diseases which can we have from the consumption of various junks. So, and you have also told us about many like health issues. That just now you have told us how we our age has become like it is like taken back regarding menstruation. Girls are nowadays having starting their menstruation at a very younger age, and it's very difficult for them to handle that as well. So thank you
Yes.
so much for enlightening us on this. So
All right.
I would like to go to the next question. Like, given your extensive background in pharmacy and drug therapy, how did your professional experience inform the research and insight presented in your book? Are there specific moments and discoveries that led you to delve into this topic?
Thank you very much. As a clinical pharmacist with some
Hmm.
25 years experience,
Wow, that's great.
yes, I've been in the hospital sector, in the
Okay,
pharmacy, and in research.
okay.
Um, and I'm observant. Within my community, I've
Hmm.
been seeing things that have not been happening.
Hmm.
So, style of people generally
Hmm.
provoked me to combine my knowledge and experience to try to study and find out what
Mm.
could be on it. Is it only drugs that are causing this, or is it food? Is it only alcohol? So on. In 2014, I collaborated in research
Okay.
titled Evaluation of the Knowledge and the Use
Mm.
of Food, Hypertension Causing Foods and Drugs in Young Adults.
Okay.
So we about 1,000 subjects were studied or participated in it. It was shocking as we found that about 90% of them were aware of drugs and they were cautious about use of drugs.
Okay.
Over 90% of them didn't know that some of the factory-made foods they are using, they are eating, contain those drugs, those poisons, those chemicals we are running away from by avoiding those.
Mm.
Eat those foods like noodles, some, and a lot of other modern foods that is full of refined carbohydrates.
Mm.
So they were these things with all the preservatives inside, the preservative poisons inside. So they had problems they never expected
Mm.
with that. Most of them had hypertension. That is, without knowing that they had it. And their family members, their
Mm.
parents didn't have these sicknesses. But their problem was that they were eating as they liked, poisons and drugs that ordinarily should have been given to them by prescription.
Mm.
I think a time will come, if we continue the rate we are going, doctor's prescription may be required
Yeah.
to eat food
You're right.
because containing a lot of chemicals.
Mm.
So I've um, I've been invited to give talks on health and diet in many places, and this has also inspired me because the interest
Mm.
the speeches or talk had generated,
Mm.
I feel
Mm.
that I should extend this to the entire world.
Absolutely, sir.
And
Yes, great. Thank you for your answer and for your elaborative explanation to the question. So I would carry on to our next question, which is your book addresses various chemicals used in food production and processing, which you have just told us the nitrate, hydrate that you are telling us in the initials of our conversation. So, could you elaborate on some of the most concerning chemicals you have identified and their potential to the health issues that we are facing nowadays? So, according to you, which harmful chemicals we are consuming more on daily basis? So, can you please enlighten on this?
okay, the major chemical, most of the chemicals used in food are, as like I said, fertilizers.
Mm.
Some of them used to for water treatment. Some are used in processing in the factories. Some are used for cooking. Let's get salt, for example. The salt being used today is mainly industrial salt,
Mm.
natural salt from the sea. Like I said, all these chemicals are used to solve a problem,
Mm.
but they create more problems.
Yes.
If you get natural salt and keep it on the table,
Mm.
it with time, not for
Mm.
long, it will just because it is hygroscopic.
Mm.
So once it sees water, it will dissolve and clump together. Now, if you want to sell it to another country or a place that's a bit far, before you get there, it is no longer what you had before. So, what is done today is that the salt will be refined so that it will no longer be hygroscopic as the natural one. But that natural one has natural iodine,
Mm.
has other factors with it that are good for the body. Then during the processing, all these natural things are removed
Okay.
so that the salt will be the way man wants it to be. One of the chemicals that could be used is magnesium carbonate.
Mm.
Magnesium carbonate, when it gets into the body, because after the whole, some of them will be retained. When it gets into the body, it can cause irritations. It can cause allergies. It can cause liver damage. It can
Mm.
cause kidney damage. And mind you, when one particular symptom comes, the body will be trying to fight it.
Yes.
So the immune system will be engaged, thereby leaving the other diseases that it would have controlled,
Mm.
giving the way to operate in the body. So it's not only that you mention a particular thing or that this is causing, but when the immune system focuses on it,
Mm.
then the body will be open for other attacks, other diseases. Now, the salt again, there's also this chemical called sodium silicoaluminate.
Okay.
Sodium silicoaluminate. When you use it to treat salt, and you are using that salt, some of the aluminum from the salt
Mm.
will get to the brain and accumulate there. And over time, it can cause brain damage.
Oh.
It can cause Alzheimer's disease, which is related to dementia and characterized by symptoms of
Mm.
memory loss, depression, and so on. That's just salt that you use every day. How many times, I can ask you now, how many times have you used salt in your life? You
Oh,
cannot quantify it.
yeah, always.
So,
Like
that,
it's a part of life actually. We cannot imagine any food without salt. So it's already there
yes.
in the diet.
Okay, now there's also this monosodium glutamate. This is artificially made. It can be natural, but you can make from that you can't get anything to go around. So it is artificially made.
Mm.
Now it will make the food sweeter. It will make it. It will impart this palatability to the food, but it also makes us to forget to add the natural ingredients that would have made the food more attractive. When that monosodium glutamate is added, people feel that it's okay.
Mm.
And this monosodium glutamate has about one third of the salt we use in it. Any quantity of it, about one third of it is salt.
Mm.
So by that, we are eating more salt than required. And apart from that, all side effects of salt, excess salt, you know them:
Mm.
liver damage, kidney, heart problems, heart attack, whatever you have about the heart. When there's too much salt, to be there. Then there's obesity,
Mm.
there are muscle problems. There's, in fact, very, very many things, including arthritis and so on. That's from the monosodium glutamate, and it comes in form of uh, different brand names. It is usually in cubes.
Okay.
So people are using it like mad today. Then factory made foods, most of them, in fact,
Mm.
almost all.
Then we also know about energy drinks. So, Complan, then Horlicks in India, they are very famous brand, and then foreign brands like Cola, like Coca-Cola, we drink cold drinks. So there we enjoy it, but it contains a lot of preservatives, and we all know that those drinks are harmful, but still we consuming them, and especially the drinks which are sold in the market in the name of like energy drink or the drink which will give you protein. So
Yeah.
I sometimes feel very doubtful that are they really giving us protein as a benefits, or they're harming our body. So because these things contains a lot of preservatives and a lot of chemicals.
Yes, the energy drinks.
Yes.
One is that they contain a lot of caffeine,
Yeah, yeah.
especially the ones that go to African countries.
Okay.
I think Europe and America, the quantity of caffeine is a bit limited. But some in Africa are not declared exactly what is there. But if you drink that, you will see. So, caffeine is something that can affect not only the heart this time, but the brain,
Yes.
because it crosses the blood-brain barrier,
Mm-hmm.
tries to control the brain, and it can be addictive.
Mm-hmm.
That's why some people that take caffeinated drinks, they keep on going there.
Yes.
So it cause a lot of things, problems for the heart, because
Mm-hmm.
it will quicken the heart rate. The heart will beat more, beat faster, and it will drive away sleep. The person will have insomnia, and some will think it is a good thing. It will keep them alert.
Mm-hmm.
When you take those energy drinks, your eyes will be so bright that is the sleep is not coming. The heart is pumping, waiting for action. It's like a disaster, actually,
Yes.
like a disaster coming into the body, and the brain wakes up the heart and everything and say, prepare for action. Something wrong is here.
Mm-hmm.
Heart will prepare for action, and the person will think it is energy that he has, but it is the body is trying to defend itself from the intruder that has come that it couldn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
So that action will worsen hypertension, it will worsen stroke, it will worsen kidney functions or kidney defects.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that particular one, the energy drinks are bad.
Okay, so you have just told us a lot of do's and cons of consuming such food which contains harmful chemicals and everything. So, can you give us some practical tips that individual and families can implement to make sure that they can consume this harmless chemical, and or they can consume such food which doesn't have such chemicals? So how can we as a common citizen can deduct or can just subtract those chemicals from our daily diet? Do you have any solution for this problem?
No chemical,
Mm.
whether in form of food or in form of drug, is good for the body,
Okay.
totally. But why drugs are better is that they are controlled either through prescription
Mm.
or naturally, because they are not sweet. Most drugs, people don't want to take them.
Mm.
But in terms of food,
Mm.
they're taking them without knowing.
Mm.
The, the food masks them, and people are consuming a lot. So the first thing is to know that there is no chemical is safe for you,
Mm.
for your body,
Then how can
especially when,
we subtract it from diet?
pardon,
Yes, I just said that how can we then consume food which doesn't contain any chemical? Then what kind of food then we should have?
I'm trying to say that using spices, artificial spices, these are chemicals.
Okay.
Using artificial spices should be done with caution. Minimize their use if you cannot avoid them totally.
Mm.
Then, two, try to use more of natural foods,
Like,
organic food.
can you give us some example? What do you mean by natural or organic food?
Organic foods, all the food that are made from the farm without using fertilizers, without using chemicals,
Mm.
without even fruits. that we eat today, some of them are made to ripe or ripen with
Mm-hmm.
chemicals, toxic chemicals like calcium carbide being
Yes.
used to ripen fruit. So if you avoid all those things, fruit that fall from the tree or you harvest, you pluck from the tree, you know that this one, no ripening, artificial ripening was used. They're not even cooking it so that you add salt or add another chemical by way of spices. So if you are eating natural things, it's better for you. And again, even the animals we breed today, you see what I said about use of growth hormones, use of
Mm-hmm.
antibiotics. These you can be eating an animal or meat, but you are taking a lot of chemicals from it. And you, as a person, if you see those chemicals, you wouldn't like to buy them. You wouldn't like to use them. You wouldn't like to do anything to have anything to do with them. But because you see meat or fish, you just buy meat and go and eat. But this is a container of a lot of chemical. So again, you have to be careful about any food you use often.
Mm-hmm.
Anything more often than you eat others. Be careful. Know the source. Know how it is made. So these are the uh, precautions people
Okay.
must take.
Thank you. Thank you so much for like enlightening us and that how can we just safeguard ourselves from this chemical usage in the foods. So thank you so much, sir, for telling us the solution. So we are almost at the end of our interview, and this is going to be the last question for you. So how have you planned yourself as a as a future author? So are there any further books that are coming from you, or are you planning to publish your next book? So please tell us more about you being an author. How do you
Okay,
want to see yourself as an author?
yes. I didn't set out to be an author. Even sometimes when people call me author, I now remember that I've written some books. I think
Mhm.
I've 4 books.
Wow.
So I didn't really prepare myself. But what I do is, since my secondary school days, I had cultivated the habit of versatile reading.
Mhm.
So and improved my uh, analytical thinking and the ability to see beyond the ordinary.
Mhm.
And I'm just trying to tell you my preparations, how I planned. But if it's you call it planning, I didn't actually plan, but it could be by coincidence. And I've gone to 4 universities. I've studied in 4 universities. Only one was first degree. The 3 others were postgraduate studies. And in the postgraduate studies, you do a lot of
Yes.
research methods, writing, reporting, and so on.
Mhm.
So that's part of the training, part of the planning. But I was actually doing it to improve my practice as a pharmacist.
Okay.
So now, at a point, I don't know how the writing came into it. Right now, I have another book on health that I'm about to publish. It's ready for publishing. And
Okay.
there's another one that we still publish it, but that one is not in health. My first book was not in health. It was in political history. I titled it the military dictatorship, the
Okay.
impact of a tragedy. And it has gone to even some universities in the United States are using it
Okay.
in Nigeria and in some places. So they found it so interesting, and I think it's solving some problems. So I'm really, if I may say, I've tried in writing a few things. Yes,
Great, great. Thank you, sir, for giving us your time. And you also have another book that you wish to publish, and we would be looking forward to publish your next book. And really, you have written a very enlightening and a very insightful book, because I think everyone, not only people who are doing research on food and processing, must read your book, but as a layman, as a common human being, I think everyone should read this book, because it will not only make ourselves aware, but we can also spread the news of awareness through your book to the entire mass, because our, as we know that health is wealth, so if our health is not wealth, then how can we earn wealth from our health, right? So I think health is a very important thing in our life, and it's
Yes.
everything, not important, health is the world. If our health is not good, then we cannot do anything in life. Okay.
Yes.
So thank you, sir. Thank you for being with me today. And I hope this book can inspire readers to embrace a healthy lifestyle by eradicating all the chemicals and the harmful junks from their daily diets. So thank you for writing such a wonderful book.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you for having me today.